to the business. Means back to the trenches. You ain't even got a mention. I got vision. I got vision. I do. Means back to the business. Means back to the trenches. You ain't even got a mention. I got vision. I got vision. I got vision. What? I got vision. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Friday Night Live. We are in the Self-Made Studios, as always. I'm with my co-host tonight, JT. Just the two of us. As you know, it's a little later than what we normally start at. So we're going to kind of get out of here real quick, kind of hit what's worth being hit, and get you guys on your way for the weekend. How you doing tonight, my boy?
I'm doing all right. You know, kind of running out of gas here. Had a long day, late night, but ready to knock this one out.
Hell yeah! Well, as we came in there, y'all seen what we had up. We know Nebraska was 20-0 going into Tuesday night against Michigan, and they did happen to fall 75-72. They had a chance there at the end with a couple shots to maybe tie it, send it to overtime. Fought hard, led by 2 at the half. They were up, I believe, by almost 10 late in that game, and Michigan just kind of put it to them. And yeah, Nebraska suffers their first loss. They fall to 20-1. I think it's still safe to say that they're in the tournament at this point. So
yeah, and that loss isn't anything to be ashamed of. I mean, Michigan has made some really good teams look really bad this year. I mean, just about an hour ago, Michigan wrapped up their butt whooping of Michigan State. Michigan State looks like they ended up kind of making the score look not too bad. But
what was the score to that game?
The final score was 83-71, but but Michigan was up 42-26 at half. So I guess I didn't get a chance to watch all that, but obviously they were leading by 18 at one point. But yeah, I mean, losing to Michigan's nothing to be ashamed of. Like I said, I still think
not.
No matter, like, I know you've got the Ken Palm up there. No matter what that says, I still think Michigan's probably the best team in the league. Granted, maybe I haven't just seen enough of Arizona. You know, that West Coast, I guess bias is whatever the reverse of bias is always gonna be there.
Lack of exposure.
Yeah, just that. Yeah, exactly. I guess the East Coast bias, I suppose. Yeah. Where's Nebraska? They dropped down to 11.
So Nebraska's currently number 11 right now.
Yeah. So
the one thing I kind of want to point out is we're getting into the later stages of the college basketball season. Is the 31-21 metric from Ken Palm. That is a top 31 defense and a top 21 offense, I believe, since 1997. All but 2 national champions have fit inside of that criteria. So to me, as I'm looking at this list, that's kind of like my biggest thing is who's going to be there. You see Michigan and Arizona at the top. Arizona right now with a 36.35, Michigan with a 35.60. That's technically puts them as both technically is a top 10 all-time Ken Palm ranked out team. Duke's right there at 35.45, and then obviously the 4-point drop to Iowa State. Iowa State still fits in the top 30 since Mr. Kenneth Palmer started taking these stats way back in the day and has kind of compiled his database. And I mean, you're looking at a slew of national champions that comes on that list. I believe in the 24-25 season, all 4 teams that finished 1, 2, 3, and 4 were your final 4 teams that year. So to me, this metric going forward is kind of going to be what takes center stage for me. And Nebraska's right there with the 22 and 11 for 22 on offense and 11 on defense. So they're right there in the mix of, you know, a team that I wouldn't be surprised to see them in that second weekend.
Yeah, I think one thing that's kind of interesting, it's a little off topic. I think it's kind of interesting how teams like Iowa State and Houston, they've really kind of rounded out their teams. You know, those were two teams that were just known for having these lockdown elite defenses, but not being able to do
Yep.
much on the offensive side of things. But Otzelberger and Kelvin Sampson kind of did what they do, and they've created really respectable offenses. Still clearly riding that defense first and foremost, but I think it's pretty impressive that Iowa State and Houston have been able to get a pretty respectable offense to go along with that lockdown without losing much, if any, beat on the defensive side of things.
Yeah, and I think that's why you're seeing these scores kind of balloon the way they are this year. I mean, granted, the Tech Houston game 92-86 is not necessarily indicative of the defense that was played in that game. If you didn't watch that game at all, the first 6 minutes of that game, I believe both teams combined went like 11 for 12 from three. At one point, I think they traded threes 3 separate times, six times up and down the court. So, I mean, to your point, like you said, it's not that the defense has gotten any worse. It's that the offense has improved so much. And I mean, you've seen it in the last couple of games that Iowa State's played where they've just kind of put their foot on some throats and on some necks. And I mean, they've kind of really taken it to their last couple opponents. I know we were talking about kind of, are we hitting the mid-season lull with them? And I guess if that was the mid-season lull right there was those two games, and I'm cool with one of those every year.
Yeah, I've been impressed how Iowa State's been able to really bounce back. I mean, I guess the one thing that was kind of weird is that they did kind of struggle. They kind of we're going to let Oklahoma State creep back in there after such a hot start, but yeah, it didn't have much of an issue there. Otherwise, they've looked really good. Yeah, that game against Colorado, just another workmanlike ho hum, kicking the shit out of another conference opponent.
God, you got to feel kind of bad for Colorado. I think they've played them 5 times in the last 2 years, and I don't know if they've lost by anything less than 20 against them.
Yeah, it was funny. I got kind of cute, and I thought that Iowa State might let them crawl back in, and so I bet on Colorado to cover 29.5, and then I woke up like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I got plus odds on 29.5.
You know what it was? It was that Anthony Rise scoop layup there with about 30 seconds left or whatever that he hit. I think that might have been his first couple points of the year on that shot.
That was one of the situations where I just kind of turned it off. It was just an ass kick, and there wasn't much else to see. I mean, the one thing I know we always come back to this. It's just, man, I wish he would rest some of those guys a little bit more. I know what Otzelberger's philosophy is, and I get the reason that he does it. I just still think there's some benefit to resting.
Man, at a certain point, I mean, it's going to be my new thing. Is I'm going to call it don't pull a Campbell here and leave your All-American corner out there up by 20 with 3 minutes to go, because I mean, you're looking for vibes on defense. Like you got 8 games left to play, and I mean, it's basketball now. So if you're up by 30 against Colorado and he happens to go for, I mean, the way these guys play, they're still going to be diving for loose balls up by 30. And is that really what you want to kind of lie your season on? Like you said, I know you don't want to give up full control and just kind of let your foot off the gas, but at a certain point, it's like, all right, we've seen this too many times play out here, that it doesn't usually always end up for the better.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, what exactly are you playing for when you're doing that? I mean, it'd be one thing if Iowa State was this fringe bubble team and they needed every single slot in the net. And I guess I realize that, like, hypothetically, Iowa State could lose its next 10 games and find itself on the bubble. And I know that Otzelberger doesn't want to. I don't know if he doesn't want to jinx anything or just doesn't want to get complacent. But like, at what point, like, what exactly are you playing for? I mean, being a 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed is just about the same thing. I mean, I guess being a 1, 2, and 3 seed is just about the same thing.
I mean, essentially,
a little bit. So, like, I mean, I just don't know what exactly you're trying to achieve by You look at the minutes here. You got Jefferson 34 minutes. You got Lipsy at 32 minutes. It's just
Yep.
a game where you at one point led by 37 points. I think I guess I can't call it inexcusable because who am I to tell TJ Otzenberg what to do? But just for conversation's sake, it's inexcusable for guys like that to have more than 30 minutes in such an ass kicking of a game. So I realize it's probably never going to change. It's just it's clearly what TJ believes, and unless they change some of these metrics and how it works, it'll just never change. But it just kind of frustrates, especially we had that scare there where Lipsy seemed like that maybe he pulled the groin or something like that. I don't know if
that was weird. I don't know. I seen him coming back to the huddle there, and kind of the sirens went off real quick, I guess you could say, about, oh man, here we go. But it looks like he probably just took a shot to the dick as he was going up for that little scoop layup there. And again, that was a situation where they're up by 32, 34 or whatever at that point. And it's like, man, what are we doing here? And I think the one thing that would be interesting to see and look at, I guess I don't know which way it would tip, but if you go back and look at past seasons where maybe they've been up by 30 in games like this, and then maybe what the following result is if he did pull guys early, is if they didn't come off as fresh or as, as kind of laser focused as they seem to have been here the last 3 games. Granted, the second half of that Oklahoma State game was not ideal, but I mean, you've been up by 30 at the half in almost each of the last 3 games. It's going to be hard to play 6 consecutive halves of just kicking the absolute shit out of somebody. I mean, you don't like to see it get down to 8 or 9 points, whatever it got down to. I honestly couldn't tell you about the second half of that game because it was so out of hand at halftime. I fell asleep before they even threw the ball in for the second half. So I didn't watch a single minute of the second half of that game. But just watching them all together the last 3 games, like there's a different type of intensity that they've brought to the court. They're diving for loose balls. They're active on defense. Apparently, Milan's become an all-conference defender somehow in these last 3 games. I think he's got like 4 or 5 blocks and a couple steals. And I know he doesn't. I honestly don't know if he's grabbed a single rebound in the last 3 games. But if you're putting up 29, 20, and 16 on a 6-9 shooting night. I know you mentioned they could lose their next 10 games and they might potentially be on the bubble, kind of taking that same theme, the Milan stat with how many threes he can miss and still shoot above 40% is continuing to get more and more asinine with every game that passes.
Yeah, it's really nuts to see the numbers that he's putting up, and like you and I were kind of talking about yesterday. It's just I'm really curious to see what next year looks like for Milan. If he ends up going to the draft and kind of where he ends up getting drafted. He's kind of trying.
You almost kind of think he has to go now, don't you? If he keeps shooting like this, I don't know if he can come back. Like I'd love to see him. I'd love to see one more year of him, but I don't know if you can come back.
Yeah, I think you got to take advantage of it, even if you're not guaranteed a first round grade. I think you probably have to make the leap. I guess you probably take some solace in the fact that it seems like that Torre has kind of cooled off a little bit. So I still think that even if you lose kind of your big 3 of Lipsy, Momcilovic, and Jefferson, you still got. I think Bateman's starting to come along, and of course, Torre will be just fine, and hopefully they can. With all the money that they free up from those 3 guys leaving, maybe you can throw a few bucks to keep Buchanan around. But yeah, I think it's looking like Iowa State's going to have 3 guys drafted this year, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I think I'd probably take your under on what you sent me last night on first round draft picks. I don't know if it's either going to be Lipsy or Momcilovic. One of them is. I just think one of them's going to slip. I don't think it's going to be very, very far if they do. I mean, I'm talking probably the 35th, 36th overall pick, but
yeah, no, I agree. Seems like pretty much Jefferson's locked in as a first round pick. It's just that the rest of the guys you don't really know yet.
And with the way Milan's kind of ascending here, I mean, at the beginning of the season, I know there was a lot of talks of, can he step up, be that guy? Can he take that next step? Can he be what they need him to be? I would argue at this point, a little over halfway through the season, I guess, he has not only answered the call, but he has exceeded the kind of the call to duty that TJ challenged him with at the beginning of the year. And it's kind of reached a point where it's almost just unbelievable watching him. I mean, he pulls up from just about anywhere, and he's getting so much confidence now that he's letting people run by him. He's resetting his feet. He's doing, little shot fakes. He had a 4-point play the other night. I mean, and I believe Bateman had one too. So
yeah, just look good.
Just seeing those guys, the way they shoot, and just kind of how free the offense has been. It's been fun to watch the last couple of games. It'll be really fun to watch when they get into the kind of the gauntlet here at the end of the season.
Yeah, for sure. So I saw we had our guy Spencer in the chat. Did you want to take a second to pay some bills?
Yeah, absolutely. We are always coming to you in the self-made sound studios. We are presented by Hybrid Promotions as always. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to our upcoming show we got coming up here on March 6th. It features the new self-made artist Austin Believe, Justin Pickett from Self-Made, Ash from the Past from Self-Made, Chubbs Bumperson, my guy, my sound guy. Love that dude. He'll be there. Hell's Flame, Espinoza, and then of course coming in down there at the bottom, myself. It will be my debut set for the year, for the team and for myself. So really excited for that coming up.
Good stuff.
And then I also want to give a quick shout out and kind of point some attention to the Self-Made, the label hybrid.com. That's where you can find all the information you need to find out about all the upcoming shows. We got a bunch of merch on there as well as new releases, new videos. We're adding to it daily. So go check it out. Go get you some merch. They got some high quality products on there. I know I've went broke probably twice.
Yeah, some good stuff on there.
You can use the code SJ23 or the code JT and get 15% off your first order. Well, that's about all I had for the college basketball. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to throw in on Drake or give us a Drake update on the week. You were pretty quiet on that front on the back end, so I wasn't sure how you were feeling about that.
No, I'm feeling good. I mean, Drake had another big come from behind win last Wednesday, I think it was. They were down by 19 to Evansville, but they came storming right back, and for what I believe was their third straight win. And they have a really big game tomorrow against probably their historically their biggest rival in the Valley, maybe outside of UNI, and that's Bradley. But both teams have maybe taken a bit of a step back recently. But yeah, that's a big showdown in the Valley. We'll have a lot of implications for seeding. So yeah, that's 5 o'clock at the Knapp Center tomorrow. Drake versus Bradley. Doesn't get much better than that.
If you're in Des Moines, check them out. Great little atmosphere to go check out a college game.
Absolutely.
I do have a couple more things here on college basketball. They did pull up this graphic the other night. I apologize if the quality is not what you guys expect it to be or expect to come from us, but I took this with my phone on my TV. This is kind of what they currently had the Big 12 seeding for the tournament, what it would look like. I know there's only been one conference that's ever gotten 3 1 seeds, but it feels like if there's going to be a conference that maybe has a chance to do that this year, it's going to be the Big 12. And I almost kind of wonder if some of these seedings are because they don't want to top seed the field too much with them.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, man. I guess the most surprising thing to me is I didn't realize that UCF was actually Oh, it was actually kind of
Yeah, they're actually
pretty
not bad.
solidly
Yeah, they're not
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, because obviously Iowa State kind of whooped them pretty good. So, but yeah, man, that would be pretty crazy to get three number one seeds. Certainly possible. And I mean, man, even if you expand it out a little bit, I mean, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could look at like 6 top 2 or 3 seeds, depending on what the rest of these teams do. So,
Yeah.
just the Big 12 continues to well, I guess kind of reclaiming its supremacy as the superior basketball conference. I think the SEC made a nice little run last year, but I think that the Big 12's definitely fighting back on that and wants to reclaim what has long been theirs.
I think it's funny that they're, you said that they're kind of reclaiming it. Well, the argument's still out there that the SEC is better, but now the argument is the goalposts have kind of shifted again, and it's, oh well, the SEC is better top to bottom, and it's no longer, oh well, the 6 best teams in the league, or 6 of the best 15 teams in the country. Well, it's no, well, the shittiest team in our league is not bad. And I mean, I guess I'll give it to them. There are some poop butt teams in the Big 12. I mean, you got Kansas State that they go out and beat a ferocious Utah team at home, and you got Jerome Tang in the stands celebrating a win. But I mean, I guess for that guy, a win's a win at this point anymore. So I guess I'm not going to hate too much. Please extend him, by the way, Kansas State. I think he's doing a fantastic job. Keep him around.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen, but man, that'd be nice.
Well, I'm almost kind of wondering if they can't afford his buyout after that first season when they went to the Elite Eight. I'm really kind of starting to wonder if they're just kind of holding on to dear life till they can buy him out.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I keep saying that, and it seems like these schools always find a way to pay these guys. Granted, Kansas State, isn't, like I said the same thing with Penn State. I didn't think they could afford to fire James Franklin, but well, look how that worked out. But yeah, I think we're probably looking at the end of the Tang era in Manhattan. I'd be curious to see where Kansas State decides to go there. But yeah, there's certainly some stinkers in the Big 12. I guess I kind of hadn't realized that Baylor has fallen off quite a bit.
Yeah, and they brought in that NBA kid too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good point that maybe the SEC doesn't quite have the clunkers that the Big 12 does, but man, they don't have that elite level stuff either. Just taking a elite level teams, just taking a quick glance at, I mean, it looks like the highest ranked team that they have is Arkansas at 15. And obviously they've got Vanderbilt. Mark Byington is doing a good job at Vandy. And
Whatever, dude. Miss me with that bullshit. That's like saying the Big 12 is better than the SEC at football because they have 5 schools that are 8-3, and none of them are ranked. But the SEC has 5 schools that are 7-5 that are ranked. Like, come on, miss me with that shit. Like,
yeah. No, I mean,
you can't have it both ways. SEC, like, pick a fucking lane here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Well, since you did bring them up, the schedule was released for our old guy. I don't even know what to call him anymore. I don't want to call him by his name, but I guess we'll call him the coach out in College Station.
Yeah.
Looking at this schedule real quick.
State College.
State College, whatever.
Texting him.
Whatever, dude. They can call themselves whatever they want to.
Penn State City.
Penitentiary State City. The Fighting Sandusky's. The Fighting Sandusky's.
There you go.
Yeah, taking a quick look at this schedule.
I mean, that's a
12-0
schedule.
It's setting up perfectly. I believe that game against Michigan is on the road, and that's probably going to be their hard. I guess they got to go to Washington as well, but who knows what you're going to get from Washington. But I mean, shit, there's 10 wins right there looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only games that they might lose are I think their toughest game is probably the USC game. Granted, it's at home, which maybe shifts things. I guess we'll kind of, obviously the Michigan game is tough, but who knows what they're going to look like with the new coach. Obviously, Washington kind of had that awkward situation with the quarterback, and the quarterback is back. So, yeah, I'd be shocked if they lost more than 3 games, and I think those 3 games, the USC game, the Michigan game, and the Washington game, and I mean, it always happens. I'm sure they'll lose some dumb game.
Oh yeah, trust me. We watched it for 10
Minnesota,
years, Penn State. Don't
yeah,
worry. We watched it for 10
yeah,
years. You're gonna find some way to lose to fucking Wisconsin for the dumbest
yeah,
reason.
yeah, and I guess it seems like Campbell's teams seem to always kind of have a random stinker on the road. So maybe look at that, like that Northwestern game
Or that Temple game right away there, right out of the gate.
Hopefully they don't lose the Temple game, but
That game's probably played at Lincoln Financial. I would imagine that's got to be the only reason they're going there.
And because of that, that's going to be hardly a road game,
right? Yeah, I mean it'd be like going to Arrowhead for like an Iowa State game, essentially.
Yeah, but yeah, if Campbell loses that Temple game, I think that hot seat guy is gonna make his.
Oh man. I would not be surprised if you see a GoFundMe to get him out to a Penn State game at some point this year. Honestly, I might contribute $5 or $10 to that. As long as I know we can get him field access, that'd be great.
Oh man, classic.
Yeah, I just figured I'd pull that randomly popped up on my timeline the other day. I figured it was timely. I know we were waiting on it. I could not find Nebraska's schedule anywhere. I know it exists in the world. As you guys could probably see, we're missing our 2 fellow Nebraskans tonight. Scheduling conflicts and then just some weeks off. So you're stuck with the 2 of us. That's pretty much all I got for anything college right now. I guess you did have one thing you wanted to cover. I guess we can hit that real quick. It's kind of college. It's kind of not college. I guess I didn't really know where to put it, especially since we're kind of getting into the NBA as well now.
Yeah, and this is one where I just kind of want to solicit some opinions. I mean, I don't know who's the one. I think Spencer's the one that cuts our reels. I'd be curious to hear what people think. Obviously, there's been this slippery slope of guys like in the G League or guys that were drafted coming back to college, and a lot of people are saying, even myself, I was kind of internally justifying it, like I don't really like this, it doesn't really make sense, but as long as guys that never played a game in the NBA come back, then maybe that's a line of delineation that you become comfortable with. But today it finally happened, and I think we probably saw it coming. We've got Amari Bailey, who used to play at UCLA, decided to forego his eligibility, or at least at the time he thought he was foregoing his eligibility.
And that's what they have to say. That's what they're saying. A lot of those declarations for the NBA draft is I'm foregoing my last 2 years of college to enter my name into the NBA draft.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like I'd love to find that tweet because I'm sure it exists. I'm guessing his
if he's got a PR firm, I was gonna say if he's got a PR firm, that thing is long gone. But I know someone with a Wayback Machine out there could definitely find that shit.
So I'm sure that'll surface at some point. I'm just curious what maybe more casual fans think of it. I think a lot of us, like you and me, that are so serious about college basketball, we just think this is a travesty, that it's not
the sport's already getting ruined. Like, come on, like we got to ruin it from 15 different angles. Like,
so
man, where does it end?
I guess we'll just have to see if, like, at some point, maybe these federal judges finally let the NCAA win one. I guess on the flip side, the only thing that I would say, is that this guy it's not like that he was on like an NBA G League team and maybe he wasn't satisfied with his playing time or something like that.
No, he played legit NBA games.
But the thing is that from what I understand, he has been released for quite some time. So it's not like he's basically out of work. He's unemployed from what I've seen. And so I like it. At that point, can I fault a guy for trying to make a living? I guess not, but I mean that's what going overseas is for.
I suppose.
No, Yeah, no, I just want to be clear. I'm completely on the side of this is a travesty, but I'm just curious what some people think, that are maybe more casual to the college game, if they think it's okay that a guy that's literally played in the NBA comes back to play college basketball. I mean, and the thing is that the law and court cases is all about precedent, man, and is this the precedent that we really want to put out there? To think of some guys that just kind of washed out of the league, the NBA that used to be really good, like someone like Dwight Howard. Like, would it be okay if Dwight Howard came back and played for Baylor or something like that?
Bryce
You
White.
know, well, yeah, that's one
He technically still has eligibility, and I don't know if he ever I don't know if he ever actually played in an NBA game.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, yeah,
But
I
you
just
gotta be able to get on airplanes nowadays, Royce. Man, I hope he sees this so we can get some interaction from him.
oh, God.
Pay some bills,
But
Royce.
but yeah, I guess I feel bad if it's clear that this kid made the wrong decision to forego his eligibility, and I guess that sucks, but you got to live with your
I
consequences
mean
of
come
your actions,
on,
man.
dude. Like we all gotta live with that stuff. And the thing is the NCAA is taking it just straight into the fucking shorts right now, over and over and over again, to the point where they're starting to allow this stuff to happen just because they can't afford to continue taking this stuff to court and then it inevitably losing and then having to pay lawyer fees for both sides when they haven't had a win in court probably in 10 years since whenever the original ruling came down that they couldn't do the college football game without paying anybody anymore. And it always comes back to, if they just would have given an inch at the beginning, we wouldn't be in a situation where we're giving miles now. And I would not be surprised if this dude is allowed to come back, that you do inevitably see someone that has played multiple seasons in the NBA that has not blown their eligibility, that will at least attempt make because at this point, why not?
Well, and the other thing, like, if we're gonna go this far of allowing NBA players to play in college, I guess what is eligibility? Like, are we gonna let
Yeah,
guys have
what does
unlimited
that even mean
eligibility?
anymore?
I mean, what if these guys just, you get one degree and you decide to go back to college and you get a degree in something else? I mean, you can go to college forever, hypothetically. Are these guys going to make a career of going to college and playing college sports?
I don't know. Chad Baker Mazara has done pretty good doing that
Yeah.
so far.
So I hope that, like you mentioned, for the first time in a decade, the NCAA catches a win in court, even
God,
though
and
it
who
was
would have
kind of
ever
nailed
thought you
them.
would say that?
Yeah.
Like, whoever would have thought you'd say, God, I hope the
But
NCAA just wins something.
But yeah, I'm just curious to hear what other people think, if people that aren't quite as insulated to this as we are, and I'm curious I'm sure this is something we'll talk about again once they decide what happens. I'm curious what Vic and Juice think. So, but I would just love to hear from somebody that thinks that this is okay. I'm sure there's people out there, and love to hear people's thoughts on this.
I mean, I think the only opinion that if you're for it would be, hey, fuck it, this other guy did it. Like, why can't I do it? And that's kind of where Scott Drew's at. And the funny thing about Scott Drew is he's acknowledged that he doesn't really agree with the rule. But if that's how other coaches are going to play, then like that's how he's going to play the game. And then that kind of makes you question, what is the ethics of these coaches actually like? I know that, they're TJ brought in Plata, who's obviously spent some time playing professionally in Germany or whatever. And that's kind of a whole different thing because he's still only 21, doesn't have any US soil experience, but that's almost kind of where this began. I don't know if you remember the name. I'm sure you do, but Lucas Stagger,
Oh God.
way back in the day, he was kind of on the forefront of players that began this whole slippery slope of, has he been paid to play? Does he still have the eligibility to play? Can he play? All right, he did play. Well, Should we not have let him play? And I think he only actually ended up playing 2 years for Iowa State, but he technically had 4 years of eligibility, and it was, I mean, when he was good, but yeah, that whole situation turned out to be kind of a whole deal.
Yeah, and I want to go back to something that you were talking about with the coaches and because that's the other thing is that it's so hypocritical of these coaches to do this because pretty much, I mean, I guess all of them aren't, but a lot of coaches are so critical of this new era of NIL and free agency and things like that. And
Across the
in
sport.
order for Amari Bailey to get a spot, there has to be a college coach out there that is willing to bring this guy on board. I mean, and so there's going to be someone out there that's going to take a chance on this guy, and I'm curious who that ends up being, and if they've made comments to the contrary. Like, it's basically, that these college coaches have the fate of their own sport in their hands, and I hope that they take a stand and see the forest through the trees and decide to not, let's not even make this a thing, like, because this can't really go to court if nobody decides to take a chance on them. Obviously, these guys are coaching for their livelihood, so somebody's going to come out there, and take a chance on this guy. But it's just kind of unfortunate where things are going.
I guess the last thing I'll say on this before we move on here, because I know we're trying to keep this short tonight. Nate Oates came out. Alabama just signed a guy that had played. He had some sort of G League experience, and he came out. Someone asked him straight up in a press conference here within the last week and a half or something like that, and he he basically said outright, yeah, I don't think this is great for the sport. He was like, but this kid has eligibility. It's kind of almost essentially along the same lines that you said, where he realized that he wasn't quite ready when he made his jump to go pro, and now he wants to come back. And he was like, and then we have an open spot on the roster. He's like, we're not taking a roster spot away from like a walk-on to make a roster spot for this guy. He's like, I don't make the rules, and I don't necessarily agree with this, but this is a kid that, I guess he's going back to the school anyways to continue his education. So I don't know. It's a tough line that is kind of being drawn in the sand, and then there are guys that are abusing it that muddy the water, that make it, a situation like that might be more acceptable than, hey, I went and played a season and a half in the NBA, or I played 15 games in the NBA, and I realized that I'm not going to cut a roster, coming up next year. So I'm going to go back to college and get paid $750,000 by someone to come out and fill a roster spot for them and then put up 20. Because I mean, if you make the NBA, you can put up 20 anywhere that you play. Like, even the guys that score 2 points a game, they could easily put up 20 points a game at a D2 school.
Sure. Yeah.
So
guess we'll just have to stay tuned.
I guess we'll leave it at that. We'll just wait for it to continue to crumble, because it just seems like it's just like a slow IV drip at this point of just bad news that keeps coming down the hill. Speaking of bad news coming down the hill, we do have our Super Bowl matchup, and it is Tom Brady Jr. and Ron from Harry Potter leading the way for these two teams. The Seahawks take down the Rams last week in Seattle, and the Patriots outlast the Broncos. And I don't know about you, but easily probably one of the craziest weather games I think I've seen in maybe the last 20, 25 years, from the start of the game to what it looked like midway through the third quarter.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy about how much that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's football, man, but that weather sure had a huge impact on who was going to go to the Super Bowl, which is just crazy. But I suppose that's how it works sometimes.
Yeah, I think there was 4 missed field goals in the second half of that Patriots Broncos game.
Yeah, and I guess I'll kind of, since I won't be here next week, I'll kind of throw in my deeper thoughts on the Super Bowl. Yeah, obviously it's not the most inspiring matchup. I mean, I think it's two really good teams, but not really two teams that spark a lot of positive or negative emotions out of people. So it's just kind of a weird one where I mean I'm kind of just kind of happy for both teams.
Oh
They
yeah,
both
no,
seem
absolutely.
kind of likable. I know maybe you feel some type of way about the Seahawks because they're in your division, but
I mean, what
and and
I mean, whatever. I'll get there in a minute.
and
I'll let
maybe
you go
not,
ahead
yeah.
and
And I know, like, I mean, back in the day, the Patriots were so hated, but it almost seems like we're kind of removed from that. That
yeah, we flipped that script. Like, if you still hate the Patriots because Tom Brady played there 10 years ago, like, what are you doing with your life, bro?
yeah,
This
yeah,
is literally not even, there's the only thing that's consistent from that team back in 2015 to the team now is the coach might have played for the fucking team at that point.
yeah,
That's about
yeah,
the only thing that is the same.
yeah. So I guess, I mean, if I had to pick a team to win, I mean, I'd probably give a slight edge to the Patriots. I guess I don't
Oh
know
man, I don't know. I don't know.
what the line.
I guess I haven't really thought about it. Yeah, I guess I do have I had a note here to get the lines for the game, and I did not do that.
Looks like right now Seattle is favored by 4.5.
Yeah, that seems pretty fair.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll be happy for. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would be happy to see Seattle win, just because I'm happy of all this adversity that Sam Darnold has gone through with
Yeah, I mean that's got to
all
be
that
the
he had
best.
to go
That's
through in New
got to be the
York.
best story in the NFL, like by far this
Yeah,
season. I mean, technically the last two seasons because he's won 14 games 2 years in a row.
I saw somebody put a tweet out there about how not kind of rely or basically passing up on Sam Darnold or whatever has gotten three general managers fired. Obviously, the Jets gave prematurely gave up on Sam Darnold. The Carolina Panthers prematurely gave up
Oh,
on
that's
Sam Darnold,
right. And
and
then
then
yeah,
of
the
course we just saw
Vikings.
today that the Vikings general
Oh
manager
god, hey, they got
got
nine
got
though,
fired.
bro. They'd be all right. They got
Yeah,
9.
yeah, and some of that's starting to come out, and it's
God.
getting kind of ugly. Where it sounds like that Kevin O'Connell wanted to keep Sam Darnold
I
and
bet he
wanted to
did.
cut bait.
He came from Sean McVay's tree. You think he wanted to go to fucking Jared Goff Jr.?
No, no chance. So yeah, that's a really bad look out of that Vikings GM. I'm surprised that they let Sam Darnold get away. I guess for my sake, I'm glad they did. But I don't know how you could look at JJ McCarthy and think that you'd rather have
God.
Sam Darnold over this guy.
Yeah, I don't know that. I guess they always say that the bad organizations stay bad for a reason, and I mean if that's not your Class A exhibit right there of what that phrase kind of entails, I I guess I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the Packers have been consistently good for 50 years because they have solid ownership. They never sold out of the city that they live in. So there's, a solid fan base behind them. Yeah, the Rams kind of went through a turmoil period there for about 10 years, but I mean, they were also infighting with the city, trying to get out of St. Louis as they were going through that. And then just kind of miss after miss on coaching. And now they arguably have maybe one of the top 3 coaches in the entire NFL running them, and he just turned 40. Just turned 40 last Saturday or Sunday. So I mean, if as long as he decides he wants to be there, he can coach for another 20 years. And I know you have your ups and downs with LaFleur, but he's essentially kind of the same way. If you can right the ship, and if you go 11-5 continually,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean you can't be firing coaches. I mean, granted, with the Bills is kind of a special situation just because you have an MVP caliber quarterback and Josh Allen, and you've been so close for so many years. And yeah, you lost some bullshit games to the Chiefs or to the Bengals or whatever. But the year that he's not there, you still kind of find a way to just piss a game down your leg. As eventually you have to decide to make a decision. And the Rams were kind of there with Goff before they made that trade with Detroit to bring Stafford in, as they had basically limped Goff all the way to the Super Bowl. And I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure they only scored 3 points in that game. And they only got to that Super Bowl on a phantom no pass interference call. So you could also argue you could also argue that they probably had no business being there. And so I mean, you got to do something, especially if you're trying to take care of your first ballot Hall of Fame, defensive backs. The Packers have one now with Micah Parsons. You can't afford to let him just sit out there and waste 4 good years of him. He's not going to be around forever. So it'll be curious to kind of see what the Packers are going to do this offseason to kind of shore their team up. I guess my question for you would be, what are you looking forward to them doing this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly seemed like that they've got to get the cap figured out first, that they have a lot of cap casualties that they need to navigate before deciding how much that they're going to have to spend, if they're going to be able to make any free agent moves. But just in general, obviously they need to upgrade at the cornerback position. I basically said on this show before the season started that was going to doom them, and it did end up doing them. So yeah, you've got to.
I did see they released Diggs too. So that
experiment.
Yeah,
and I guess no, and a lot of people don't. That was just more of a procedural thing to get him out of that contract. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets back on board.
Really interesting.
Yeah, it was more of a procedural thing because he was scheduled to make so much money.
So so if they cut him, then does that push dead weight back onto the Cowboys then?
Or, I guess I don't know how it impacts the Cowboys. I'm guessing that money is already dead, but it just basically, I think he was scheduled to make like $11 million, and obviously in the NFL, they can just rip up the contract and,
I don't know how they do that. MLB's getting the same way too. It's like, hey, we'll pay you $100 million and 2,100, and it's like, all right.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see what the Packers do. I mean, like usual in Green Bay, they're probably just gonna have to rely on the draft and hopefully Brian Gutekunst, knocks the draft out of the park. I mean,
you're right there.
Packers, the Packers leadership is obviously not phased by this season. Obviously we saw Matt LaFleur got re-upped just today, but Brian Gutekunst and Russ Ball got their contracts extended. So
that's good. See, that's sensible. That's sensible leadership. That's sensible leadership.
Yeah, no, I think so. It kind of goes back to what Vic said last week about not hiring or not firing good coaches. So
yeah, well, especially
sometimes things happen.
Especially if the highest valued player you have in your organization fucked his knee up, in week 12 or whatever, when Parsons went down with that torn ACL. That's kind of unfair to, hey, we're going to get you the guy that you've been begging for on defense. I think they were 9-3-1 before he went down, and they lost like 3 of their last 4 or something like that. So it'd be totally unfair to call him on that alone. I know I said wanted to get to the NBA. I'll let you finish whatever thoughts you have. I'm going to pull this list up real quick, and we'll kind of end with this tonight. I know I did kind of want to get into the NBA, but I know we're trying to get out of here as well. And most of the stuff I have, we won't have a complete answer on this week, or it's something that we can push to next week. So,
gotcha. Yeah, you can move on to whatever you got going on here.
Yeah, I just came across this the other day. It's an all-time QB tier list. I don't think anyone's gonna have any qualms with Brady sitting there by himself, or Manning sitting there right underneath of him. After I got past those first 2 names, that's when I kind of really started to take a deeper look at this list, and I got a whole lot of issues with this list as we get farther and farther down here. Just kind of the way that some of this is tiered up. I guess I'll let you lead off, and then I'll
Yeah, I guess the first thing that I don't have any issues with the first two tiers. I think you could make the argument that Drew Brees might be a little too high,
Yep.
and then I think that Steve Young and John Elway are a little too low. Are the two things that jump out to me right away.
I almost thought Breeze probably could have been up there with the on the legendary tier,
Really? Wow.
just for the yards that he threw for, and
Indoors.
yeah, all right. I guess I could concede you there a little bit. I don't know. I suppose I'm okay with Mahomes being there. I guess I never realized Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
I think you could have put Marino on that legendary line, but yeah, it probably comes back to the Super Bowls.
which he must have been just after the 72 team. And I guess we're too young to remember Unitas. So I guess I'm not gonna. And yeah, obviously it's just like the NBA. You can't look at stats and can't pull up LeBron and Bill Russell and then try and argue apples and oranges, or LeBron and Jordan, even if we're gonna be real. Like they play two different games, but that's for another day.
I guess just another thing that came to me. I think putting Lamar Jackson on the top 20 all time. I don't know if I'm quite there yet with him, and that's just more just not quite yet. I'm not saying at the end of his career he's on this list, but I think it might just be just a tad premature to put Lamar on that list.
Yeah, let me go ahead and let me remove this banner real quick so we can see the names of this bottom line here. I guess you still can't see it, so whatever. But you got Russell Wilson, Matt Stafford, Lamar Jackson. Is that who is that? I can't see that. Troy Aikman, Jim Kelly, Steve McNair, and
yeah, I didn't even realize that there's another tier after that. I didn't realize the other graphics cut off.
I don't know who that Jets quarterback is. I can't see his name. It's covered up.
Isn't it? Is it Joe Namath?
Oh, it is Joe Namath. It is Joe Namath.
Okay. No, yeah, you had me confused. That's not Steve McNair. That's Warren Moon.
Oh, is it? Oh, I seen the Titans logo. Yeah, I apologize, everyone. I don't have my reading glasses on, and I'm looking at it on two different screens, and it's still not big enough. I do have reading glasses. I lost them in Sioux City. Yeah, I lost them in Sioux City.
Wow.
Prescriptions.
Wow.
Yeah. How about that, huh? Yeah, and then I understand why Phillip Rivers is on this list, but why is Phillip Rivers on this list?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I understand why Eli's there too. He makes more sense just because he's got 2 Super Bowls, and I love Phillip Rivers, don't get me wrong, but that has to be recency bias, right? It just has to be. There's no way it's not.
Yeah, he was always kind of the redheaded stepchild to the Manning.
Yep.
I guess the Peyton, Eli, Tom kind of run there. So yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where maybe you can bump him down to the next one below it.
I'd be okay with that, honestly. I'd be okay with him being on the top 20 line, or actually, that's not even the top 20 line. I can't remember what that bottom line says.
I think it says great players,
or it's either that or it's honorable mention. Probably would have been a better way that they could have put that.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it here real quick.
It looks like it says great players to me.
Yes, it does. How about that? Hey, we need to go and play a game show or something.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably a little high on. And I'll be honest,
Kurt Warner's on here too. I guess I didn't realize that he's right next to. Yeah, I don't know.
He's between. I don't know one single damn thing about Dan Fouts. So
I was just about to say
Take
that
Cole's
too.
word for it. So
Sounds good. Works for me.
yeah.
All right, brother. Well, it's 11 o'clock. I know I said we were going to get out of here around the 11 o'clock hour. So I'll go ahead and land this plane for us so we can get out of here. Big weekend for the Clones. They got a Sunday game taking up space for the NFL since they need a team that's going to bring some eyes to the TV for them. For everyone at Self-Made, the label music, everyone at Hybrid Promotions, we appreciate you guys sponsoring the show, helping us out, bringing us out to the people. Big shout out to Spencer Scholl, our promotions manager, who's out putting those reels together, getting those out.
Yeah, does a good job with that.
Yeah, no, we love you, brother. Shout out to Vic. Shout out to Uncle Juice. Couldn't be here with us tonight. They will be back very soon, so don't you worry. For JT, I am Slim. This is Friday Night Live. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us for the night. We will catch you next week.